companies limited by shares. Do you have a question on that?
Please, I really don't get it like that.
Let's move to the second one, which is companies limited by guarantee. Now, this type of company have its members pledge funds to meet any requirement from creditors in the event of winding up or in the event where there is a shortfall in meeting the creditor's obligation. These types of companies are usually operated as non-profit organizations. A company limited by guarantee has the phrase limited by guarantee or the abbreviation LBG at the end of its name. Okay, now the uniqueness of this type of company is that number one, they don't run to generate profit. They are more of non-profit oriented. Okay, and again, their members or the shareholders pledge, they make a promise that if the business should suffer any loss, this is how much I'm willing to support the company with. So indeed, if such losses occur, then those who made the pledges would have to redeem their pledges, and nothing beyond that should happen. So for example, if I pledge that, if there are any losses, I'm going to contribute 1,000 Ghana cedis. That is exactly how much I'm going to lose if there are losses. It wouldn't go beyond what I pledge or what I promise to offer in the event of the business needing money to take care of liabilities. So that is companies limited by guarantee. And one of the things you can use to identify them is they have LBG, as limited by guarantee, attached to their names. Do you know of any company like that in Ghana? Have you come across any company with I'm sure they are not too common. A common one you might know, or maybe you haven't paid attention to, is the Ghana Red Cross Society. It's one of the companies limited by guarantee. So Ghana Red Cross Society, LBG. We have, I think we have the Cancer Society as well, Ghana Cancer Society. We have the Ghana Blind Union, and even in education, I think we have the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition. So these are some of the companies. The common one is the Ghana Red Cross Society, and I'm sure you know of that company in this country. So remember that they are mostly not there to make profit like the Red Cross Society. They are not in to make profit. Okay. I think I have this one. Even the Ghana Health Service, and the Ghana Medical Association, and Ghana Bar Association. All these are companies that are limited by guarantee. Okay, let's move on. I think you can search a lot about some of the examples beyond what I've stated here. The next one is unlimited liability, unlimited companies, right? And this is to say that in this type of company, the shareholders' liability goes beyond what they have invested. It extends to their private properties as well. So it says that in the event of any loss or in the event where the company is unable to meet its liabilities, creditors can attach the personal assets of the members to satisfy whatever debts are outstanding and owed them. Okay. So normally their names end with a PUC or PRUC. PRUC is a private unlimited company and PUC is a public unlimited company. And I think I'll give you the assignment to search for some of these companies in Ghana because there are a lot of them you'll find. Okay. Then the last one is external companies. External companies, sometimes referred to as foreign companies. So these are companies that are registered, okay, and operate in a country different from where its primary operations or headquarters are situated. These companies are known as external corporations, often establish a presence in other countries to expand their market. So external companies are those companies that operate in other countries, if I should say. They have their headquarters in one country and they have several branches in other countries. Okay. So these are the 4 types of companies that we have as prescribed by the code. But one of the unique things you have to know is that either of these company can be private or public. So if it is private, it means that it's owned by certain few individuals. If it is public, now public does not necessarily mean that it's owned by the government, right? By the public, companies have their membership more than 50. In fact, the private has their membership between 1 to 50. So 50 is the maximum number of people that can form a private company. So above 50, you would have to form a public company. And for public companies, their membership, the maximum membership is infinity, as in they can have as many as they want. Infinity. Okay. I think we'll get to that bit where we look at the differences between private companies and public companies. But the distinctions are given, you have to take note of them. It's basically because of the membership. Okay. Not necessarily because the government is involved. That's why it makes them public. But the private companies have their membership limited to 50 people. So above 50 or in excess of 50, you'd have to form a public company. So public companies go beyond 50 to infinity. Their membership, the maximum is infinity. Okay. Then we have benefits of a company. In other words, the advantages of companies. I think we have a lot to read. Advantages and disadvantages as well to capture. Any questions so far, Prof?
No.
Okay, if there are no questions, then probably I'll ask you, as a business student, how would you, in your own words, explain the 4 types of company to your art colleague? Yes, you are gathering your thoughts. How would you explain the 4 types of companies to your colleague who is an art student? Your microphone is muted, so unless you.
Please, I actually don't have any explanation for them.
Okay, so based on what you've heard, if you were to state the 4 types of companies and explain, how would you do it? I'm interested in that.
Okay, with companies limited by shares.
Okay.
But with this, each member is limited to the amount, if any, that is unpaid on the shares each member has.
Okay.
Held. Yes, and with the company limited by guarantee. Hmm. So please, I don't understand that one very well.
Oh, yet you didn't ask me, you see. Okay, so the
Okay, with the company limited by guarantee.
uh-huh. Oh, go ahead. Okay, so the company is limited by guarantee. We say that in this type of company, the shareholders or the members' liability is tied with or is limited to the amount they pledge. The key term there is pledge or promise to pay in the event of huge losses. Okay, so it's like they give a guarantee, right? So they pledge, they promise that if the business suffers any loss, this is how much I am pledging to give to contribute to settling the losses. Okay. So that's companies limited by guarantee. The liability of the members are limited to or are tied to the amount they pledge or promise to give in the event of huge losses. Right? Then I guess the unlimited, that one is easier for you. All the members' liability extends to their personal or private properties. Okay. I think I also said something about the difference between a private company and a public company. Can you indicate that for me? As in what makes a company private and what makes a company public?
Okay. Okay. With a private company, the maximum number should be 50, but when it extends to 50, it becomes a public company.
Okay. Okay. So it's based on the membership. For private companies, their maximum membership is 50, but for public, it goes beyond 50 to infinity. But the minimum number of persons that can set up or incorporate a company is actually 1. So one person can start a company. Okay, good. So let's look at the features of a company. I think that one is easier. So number 1 is a legal entity. When I say a legal entity, I think I explained in the definition. It has, by law, it is seen as a different person from its owners. Okay, so it can enter into contract, it can sue, it can be sued, okay, it can own assets. So for example, when we take MTN Ghana, MTN Ghana actually is a public company. In other words, The shareholders are plenty, but it used to be private, but I think somewhere around 2019, yes, 2019, if I'm right, they extended to the public. And a company can be a public company only when it extends its membership beyond 50, and for that matter, is allowed to trade on the stock exchange market. The private companies are not allowed to trade on the stock exchange market. I think we'll get to that bit, so let me hold on to that for some time. So that's about the legal entity. It is separate from its owners. 2, limited liabilities. Yes, if the company is a limited liability company, then of course the members' liabilities only up to how much they invest in the business, and their private properties or personal assets are not available, so they are protected in that regard. So it's an advantage, or it's a feature, I should say. Shareholders or members, yes, the company is owned by people we call shareholders. Okay, so the members of a company are called shareholders, like the members of a partnership are called partners, and the owner of a sole proprietorship is called a sole proprietor. Okay. Then management structure. Now companies have a management structure that looks at the day-to-day operations of the business. I think I would have to take you through this structure. So if you look at a company as a skeleton, first of all, we have the owners or the shareholders. Okay, and for public companies, sometimes we have millions of people. If I'm not exaggerating, MTN Ghana should have hundreds of thousands of owners now that it is a public company, because when they floated their shares, a lot of Ghanaians bought it. I think they were selling it at 75 pesos per share at the time. Okay. So we have the shareholders now. These people are plenty, so they can't manage the business. So they set up a board. So we have the board of directors. Okay. So this board of directors now appoint the general manager, or in some cases, the chief executive officers. Chief executive officers, what you know as the CEOs. Okay. Or in some companies, the managing director. Okay, so this is the basic structure of a company. The shareholders, they have the board of directors, okay, as in they appoint board of directors, and some of the members might be, owners or shareholders of the company. If they have the expertise, why not? Okay, now this board of directors now appoint the chief executive officer or a managing director to see to the day-to-day run of the business. Then maybe we come to the assistant managers, then down to the heads of department, to the various supervisors, down to the employees. But up there, this is the basic structure of a company. So every company should have a board of directors, okay, who would see to appointing a manager or the chief executive officer to run the business. Okay. So that's what you have here. It says has a management structure, and this includes directors, officers, or managers who are responsible for taking decisions. Okay. Then perpetual existence. Now, since a company is seen as separate from its owners, the owners might die and it will still be living. Okay. Unlike the partnership and sole proprietorship, companies can exist for that long, even if their owners are no more. They can still exist. Okay, so these are few features of a company. Prof, any question? If there are no questions, I would like to review what we've discussed today. And that is, we saw companies, and we said it is a legal entity that is set up to do business. Okay? And we indicated that this type of business is regulated by a certain law. And Professor, can you tell me the law that regulates companies in Ghana? I think you have to unmute. Oh, my professor didn't take notes on that. Okay, so the law that governs companies, the formation of companies, is actually the Companies Act. The Companies Act 2019, Act 992. So please note that. But it came to replace the Companies Act 1963, Act 179. So take note of this detail. They can pop up in an objective test. Okay, now the law prescribes 4 types of companies: companies limited by shares, companies limited by guarantee, unlimited liability company, and foreign companies or external companies. And I think we have done justice to that. Okay. Please, can I continue? Or if you have a question, please, or a confusion, and let me explore more on that for you to get the understanding. Okay, I guess there are no questions, Prof. So I guess we'll call it a wrap on this session too.